You're good?
I'm not. I don't feel constricted by the wire. I'm in sweatpants.
We're having fun setting up for our podcast in my very
crowded. I'm wearing Yoda socks today.
Oh, Yoda socks! I like.
Last time I was wearing Stormtroopers.
Yes.
This time I got Yoda.
Yes, you do.
Next will be Darth Vader.
All right.
So that's exciting.
It is exciting.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. I apologize. You were saying that we were setting up in your very crowded...
In my very crowded office, yes. But I will also say hello and welcome to
Positive Conversations
with David and Donna. I'm Donna.
I'm David.
And we're so glad you're here. So we're excited about our little short 20-minute segments now because it seems so much easier than talking for a whole hour, even though for us talking is never an issue, which is why we started this
Sometimes
business.
It's a problem.
You are so correct.
We're trying to do work.
Well, yeah, but I think it is our work. We just have to find the focus.
And we always find something positive to come out of them, that positive towards our business, our work. And also, it's how you stay positive whenever you are working hard and then things get annoying and frustrating. You just have to spend 3 hours of work time talking about things that have nothing to do with work until all of a sudden they do.
I agree with
have
that.
To do with work.
For us in particular, but I think it's nice to give yourself the time you need for the breaks that you need.
Oh yeah, I always say every single time I deal with people, because this is something I've always done, and when people come to me with problems like, oh, I'm so frustrated, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, you just have to say, just walk away from it. Even if it's like a video game level. If you can't beat a video game level and you get frustrated, just put the controller down for 30 minutes and you'll come back and all of a sudden you beat it. And same thing with work or writer's block that people deal with or anything. You just take a break from things, come back and deal with it. And then it'll come to you so much easier. So much easier and naturally if you're just relaxed and positive.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to get anything done if you're stressed. And if you're not looking at things in positive ways.
Or if you're just so caught up in it. Because I think that no matter what it is you're doing, and Lord knows I can relate to this with all of the issues with productions when there's like 5,000 details and it's like you feel like you can't stop or it'll never get done. Sometimes just stopping is what makes you more productive. Totally agree with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Good one.
Yeah, thank you. And when you're dealing with productions, you have to really, whenever you face those struggles, you have to remind yourself why you do what you're doing.
You're right.
Whether that be a playwriting or that be your job or anything like that. I've seen it with you where you're facing all these struggles and stuff and things aren't going well in the playwright, and I tell you that you just have to laugh about the absurdity that we're making a play about a vampire who
befriends a teenage boy in a graveyard,
who plays esports. Like, that's so... It's dumb, but in a good way.
Well, it definitely worked on stage.
It worked very well.
I love that play.
And it was positive. And once you got through positively, then it just has a positive effect on everybody involved. If you stay positive, everyone else around you will too.
I find that very true in my classroom.
I know.
Very true.
I know. So, whenever you're dealing with adversity, something that I think you should do is whenever you take your break and you relax, think about some positive things that have happened even in all of the bad.
Which leads us to your idea before the podcast. So David's segueing us into his thought for our beginning. So he wants us to start our stay positive podcast.
Positive conversations.
With 3 things that we found positive since the last time we talked. So I'll let you start.
Oh, okay. You know what? How about this? I'll say one thing you said.
See, I was going to say that next. See, David always reads my mind. It always happens. I
know. So a positive thing that has happened since the last time we recorded Positive Conversations. I had a really fun time hanging out with friends playing some Dungeons and Dragons a couple days ago.
Cool.
And I walked away from that feeling very happy and good. So that was a positive thing that went on. Because we had been trying to schedule it forever and it never goes right. But then you finally get that schedule with your friends and you find time with those people. And I walked away feeling a lot more positive than I did when I got there. What about you?
Well, you were actually part of my positive thing. So David came to work on the same day as the LSU game.
Oh, yeah.
And I told him, I'm a LSU fan this season. I have to be honest. I guess I'm a fair weather fan, but it's hard not to be an LSU fan this particular season with such a phenomenal team. And so he got to sit in the living room while he was working and watch me just lose my mind every time Joe Burrow passed the football. And we scored any kind of points, moved the field, even when we got a touchdown. I mean, I was just screaming on the couch, and I just enjoyed the game so much. And I'm just so excited for us to win the next game. I just feel it in my heart. We're going to have that national title, and I'm so excited for so many reasons. And so that has brought me great joy this season.
So the positivity was LSU winning the game.
It was just it was the game.
Season.
It was the experience of the game. Just sitting there watching the game, and then I loved how David looked at me every once in a while. He's like, "I'm just enjoying all this excitement."
Yeah, and I'm just like I've said before, I have no interest in football, and I came over like, "We're gonna watch the game." I'm like, "Okay," but you know what? It was actually a really great opportunity for me to put in my headphones and edit a bunch of stuff, and got a lot of work done that day. So that was positive.
So that's it. That's
my second positivity is that
thing.
I did more work on that day than I've done in a long time for this. And on that same day, I believe I actually went to work that morning and did some stuff at my actual, like, my job, my real, quote unquote real job.
Well, the one where you get a salary at this moment.
Yeah. And I did some work there, and I was really proud of I think I even talked about how it was a good day because I walked away and was like, that went a lot better than I thought it would. So I had a really good work experience the past couple of days, just getting all this stuff done.
You enjoyed the work of work or the work that you did for us at work?
Both. I enjoy that I got stuff done in both places, and I felt the motivation to do things in both places, because I don't want to slack either one of them.
I hear you. So that's your 3, and I've only said 1, so...
It was only 2.
No, it was 2. It was 3, because I think that your experience with the game, like working during the game, was positive. And I think your experience working at work is your 3rd one. But you can say a 3rd one if you'd like.
No, well, you go ahead with your second.
My second one. I'm always, like, I wake up happy. When I open my eyes in the morning, I just think about something that makes me smile. So, let me think.
I can say one if you...
Go right ahead.
What was going to be my 3rd one before Donna correctly pointed out that technically I've already said 3, was that when I was in Disney about a month ago, I came across this Christmas ornament, and it was a little cassette tape that said Awesome Mix Volume 1 on it from Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just a little replica. It looked really, really cool. I really wanted it, but it was like $20. It is not worth $20, and so I had to put it down and say, I don't need to get this. It's just a cassette tape painted to look like Guardians of the Galaxy's Awesome Mix. And I just, like, offhandedly mentioned that to my girlfriend. And for Christmas, she made me an ornament.
Oh, wow.
Did I not tell you that?
No, you didn't tell me that.
Oh,
I thought maybe you were going to say she ordered it for you, but she made it for you.
Yeah, she's very talented,
wow.
Makes lots of stuff. So she didn't have cassette tape, so she, like, molded clay to be the exact shape of it.
Oh, my goodness.
Cooked it and then painted it perfectly to look like...
So that was even better than the one that you wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's handmade.
Because it's handmade and it's from her. So now, and that was very exciting because I had no idea. And then I just opened up the gift and I got this thing that I'm like, I mentioned a month ago and she remembered it.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what I wanted. So that is a very positive thing.
It is.
That made me very happy.
Very positive thing.
Which I guess leads more into the bigger positive is that I'm in a happy relationship for once. So things are going well.
Very happy. Mm-hmm. Very, very happy. Okay, so what things make me happy? I think I'm just happy with my general outlook. I think all of us go through rough times. And I remember having conversations with different people about, why can't I be happy? And then other people I talk to say things like, you just be happy. And so I feel like it took me a while to get to the point where I am, where I can just think about what I have to do in my daily world and just be happy about it. I mean, happiness is how you face things. It's not something you get because it's an inside job. Happiness is an inside job.
Good point.
And so I think that
the title of this episode.
There you go. Happiness is an inside job. I like it. So I wake up happy that that I just am happy that I am positive. So my positive thing, I guess, for my overall, not just for the last week, is that I feel like I have a positive outlook, and I feel like what we're doing together with this business is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that makes me happy. I feel like we're still kind of working toward a lot of things, but as I look back over what we've done in the last 6 months, I'm extremely happy about that too. So there's my third positive. My third positive is that we decided to do this, just kind of, it was really, I decided to do it and David came along for the ride, I think, even though we had kind of talked about doing something similar.
You're right.
And we just have run forward and never looked back. I mean, we have paused. We will say that. We have paused. Life gets in the way. But I feel like the life that gets in the way, though, is positive stuff. It's like...
It's necessary.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to live and eat and, go to your job. Yeah. But I feel like it's a very positive thing that we've continued to do our podcast, our creative conversations, every week. We haven't missed a week, and now we've added a second one, which is nice because it feels like this one is very organic. It was just kind of like, I told David one day, let's just talk about happiness. And he's like, that's a great idea. And then it was like, well, let's do it separately. Like, that's another great idea. So now we have 2 different podcasts, and one of them shorter. And I think I had mentioned on the first episode of this that my son Sam was like, not everybody wants to listen to an hour. Y'all should throw some shorter stuff up there. And so boom, it's just like, boom. The thought comes in, it's processed. Here we have episode 2 going.
Thanks, Sam.
Yes, that's it. Well, and you too. It was your idea. I mean... It was everybody's idea. It was just a combination of everybody's idea, right?
Right,
so,
I think that's a fair thing to say.
I agree with that.
One time, that reminds me, when I was, this is completely off topic, but it reminded me. When I was in elementary school, I remember I used to play this game that I called Ultimate Everything. And what that means is that me and my friends, you could be like, we would say, oh, let's play Avengers, and then I'll be Thor, you be Hulk. But what if someone else wanted to be Batman? Well, Batman's not in the Avengers. Fine, we won't play Avengers, we'll play Ultimate Everything, where you can be anything you want. I came up with it.
Great idea.
Me. No,
yes, you did.
I came up with that. But there was this kid. Now, this is going to lead into something positive.
I'll believe you.
There's this jerk who's like, no, I came up with it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, you didn't. And then we kept arguing. Finally, he goes, fine, we both came up with it. It's an everybody idea. And I've been resentful ever since because it was my idea. But you know what? That happened, 13 years ago
many
now?
Many
moons ago.
Yes.
And if you're out there listening, I think your name was Josh, I forgive you. I totally came up with it, but I forgive you for saying that we both did.
I think you're going kind of against our message here, David.
Okay, I'm just joking. I'm just joking, but in reality, what I'm saying is that it's a positive to look back on those things and to let them go. Just let stuff like that go. Because I'm the kind of person who will stay up at night being like, oh man, in 2008 I tripped and that guy laughed at me. Oh man. Or like I said something awkward one time and stuff, and I focus on things like that, and they end up making me like angry at myself and like everything, and just gotta let all of it go. Because who cares? It's just be positive about stuff. Who cares if that happens? Forgive yourself for things. Forgive others for things.
Well, I think in order to stay positive, this is something that I've read and I have been trying to... Well, I think I've always done it, but I'm just much more conscious of doing it now, is the thoughts that you have in your mind that you don't want to have. I mean, things come in. So, for example, driving down the road and think, what if I get in a wreck? Or what if anything negative? And your brain just goes to that. And I am just very, very aware of my thoughts. And if I think anything negative, anything negative, I just literally say aloud, nope. I stop myself. I don't care what the negativity is. Like, oh God, I gotta go and teach this lesson at school today. Whatever is in my head that's negative, I'm like, nope.
LSU might lose today.
No, I don't ever say that. See, I always correct David. David says things like, we might win the next game. I'm like, no, we're going to win. We will be the national champions. We will. I have no doubt about that, and I have had no doubt from the beginning. But
there's a really, really cynical part of me that wants them to
see,
lose.
You got to stay positive.
But that wouldn't be positive.
You got to stay positive.
Exactly.
So I just, beyond things like that though, we have things that come in our mind, especially what David's talking about, where you replay things that were so devastating at the time. And I think so many people get caught in that loop. I mean, it could be just the most ridiculous thing. I'll have an example. When I was living in my first apartment, I got up later than I meant to. I had set an alarm for a nap, and I was supposed to be driving to an aerobics class. So I hurriedly threw my aerobics clothes on and got in the car, and I'm driving down the road, and the light was yellow, and I didn't realize the lady in front of me was stopping because I thought we were going to both make it. So I'm like slamming on my brakes, and I just barely tapped her. And I didn't get out because I knew there was no damage. And she's like looking in her rearview mirror. I mean, writing down my license plate and whatever. And I'll write down my make and model because my license plate was on the back. But I just felt like such an idiot. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Just things like that go through my mind. Like, I have 2 or 3 examples of things that have really embarrassed me in my life, or that I just felt so stupid. And they come back. They just come back. And now I'm just so aware. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to think about that. And I just change my channel. I really do feel like, if you're aware of the thoughts that are in your mind and you channel them the way you want, like you literally change your VCR, boy, I'm dating myself there. Hit the remote control, change the channel, whatever you want to say. But just don't ever let those things sit. Don't let the negativity dwell in your brain. Just change your channel. And think of something that does make you smile.
Exactly. That's a good point. Change the channel. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're watching it. You're watching it in your head. You just got to change the channel to something that
you want to see.
And if you just can't get it out of your head, then just forgive yourself for it, because things happen.
They do.
Things happen
all the time, and it's
Yes.
your choice if you focus on the negative or focus on the positive.
You
And
can't
it's your
change what
choice.
happened.
Your point last week I thought was really good about if you do something like spilling something that makes you feel stupid, but if it gives somebody else joy or a smile or whatever, you can try to see what might have been
think of it
positive
that
about
way.
it. That could be good. But
So tell me, what might have been positive about you
running into the car?
running into the car?
Nothing.
Maybe she got home and she went to go check the damage, and she realized, well, you didn't damage me, but my car's been leaking oil.
Oh, I
and I
didn't
never
even
bothered
know.
to check. So maybe my car, and maybe she got it fixed.
Yeah.
And she would have never have known.
That's a possible thing.
That there is a chance that happened. We have no
saying.
way of knowing, but maybe it did.
Yeah.
And maybe you should. It's, even the unlikely is better to hang on to than the
embarrassment
than the likely bad.
Yes. Right. Find a positive story to tell
Yes.
yourself. Yes.
Hope.
Yes.
You could say
a new hope.
A new hope. I've been playing a Star Wars game lately that is all about that, and I'm so into it. I was making my lightsaber in the game, and I got to pick the color, and I'm like, I could just pick my favorite color, but instead I'm gonna look what all the color means. I'll look up all the meanings of the color, and the color I picked was yellow, which means the guardian of hope.
I love.
So I am the guardian of hope.
So when you have a negative thought, you can wave your yellow lightsaber in your mind and just.
Yes, that's exactly what I can. And just slice it away.
You can.
I like that. So we have about 2 minutes left,
I
but
know.
I don't want to. I want. Excuse me. I want you to be able to talk about what you wanted to talk about. I want that quote that you have open on that book there.
Honestly, I'm okay with us not doing it, but
Yeah,
since
but
it's here,
since I pointed it out, I mean, I see it looking over there. It's
right,
open.
It is open.
And I just want you to read that quote for
Okay, so
everybody.
it actually goes along with what I said earlier. It says, never put the key to your happiness in somebody else's pocket. And so the idea of happiness being an inside job, as we've already said, is what this quote is saying, in my opinion. Because if you want somebody else to treat you a certain way, or do something a certain way, or act a certain way towards you, or whatever, and you will be happy if and when this occurs, then you are putting the key to your happiness in somebody else's pocket. And by the way, this is from Tom Ziegler, the person who said that quote. But I really like that, because I feel like when people understand, like we're even saying, changing the channel in your brain, it's all about your reaction and your choice. I think happiness truly is a choice, and even though there are admittedly awful things that happen to people, there are plenty of people who go through awful things and still are able to come through with the positive attitude.
Yeah, I've seen.
David is sleepy.
I'm always sleepy. I've seen stuff like that happen all the time where it's a good point. People go through absolutely horrible things, and it makes them more positive, because when you go through something like that, you have to choose to be happy, or you're going to go insane.
Yeah.
And even if at night when you get home and you break down a little bit, it's still you're still trying and you're
I
making
think
the choice.
that
and
the
pushing.
expression of any emotion is so important. I learned that the hard way. So whatever you're feeling, and David's actually been around me enough to know that when I have something that bothers me, I express it immediately. I get it out. I talk about it. I cry about it. I just because I know if I hold it, because I've held it many times, it'll just fester, and I want to express that, and that might be something we'll talk about next
I
time
think
in
that's
more
a great
detail.
idea. I will write that down.
All right.
Expressing your emotion.
Yes.
That's a great topic for a positive conversation.
I think so.
Yes. Are any emotions negative, or are they all positive?
Well, let's save it for next time.
Let's save it for next time. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening to Positive Conversations with David and Donna. This has been David.
And Donna.
Stay positive.